മലയാളത്തിലെ സിനിമാ നടികൾ ഇറച്ചിക്കോഴികളെ പോലെയാണെന്ന് പണ്ടു പറഞ്ഞത് നടനും സംവിധായകനുമായ ബാലചന്ദ്ര മേനോനാണ്. വ്യക്തിത്വമോ അഭിനയ സാധ്യതയോ ഇല്ലാത്ത വെറും കെട്ടുകാഴ്ചകളായി നായികമാരെ സിനിമയിൽ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിനെതിരെയായിരുന്നു ശ്രീ മേനോൻ്റെ വിമർശനം. സൂപ്പർ സ്റ്റാറുകളായ പുരുഷ കഥാപാത്രങ്ങൾക്ക് പരിഹസിക്കാനും സ്ത്രീവിരുദ്ധ ഡയലോഗുകൾ അടിച്ച് കയ്യടി നേടാനും ഉള്ള ഉപകരണങ്ങളായിരുന്നു അന്നത്തെ നടികളും അവരവതരിപ്പിച്ച നായികമാരും. സൂപ്പർ സ്റ്റാറുകൾ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് കവലച്ചട്ടമ്പികളുടെ റോളാണെങ്കിൽ IAS-കാരും IPS-കാരുമായ വനിതാ കഥാപാത്രങ്ങൾ പോലും നടി റോഡിൽ അവരാൽ പരിഹസിക്കപ്പെടും. നായകന്മാരുടെ പുലഭ്യം കേട്ട് തല താഴ്ത്തിപ്പോകും. ഇത് കണ്ട് ശീലിച്ച പ്രേക്ഷകർക്ക് തോന്നും മലയാളത്തിലെ നായിക കഥാപാത്രങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല നടികളും ഇതേ സ്വഭാവക്കാരാണെന്ന്. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ രീതിയിൽ മലയാള സിനിമയിൽ പല കഥാപാത്രങ്ങളെയും അവതരിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള നടിയാണ് രോഹിണി. അഭിനേതാവെന്ന നിലയിൽ അഭിനയം എന്ന കല ആത്മാവും ശരീരവും സന്നിവേശിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയെന്നതടക്കം അഭിനയത്തിനെ അക്കാദമിക ഭാഷയിൽ വിശദീകരിക്കുകയാണ് ഇവിടെ. രോഹിണി മലയാള സിനിമയിൽ അവതരിപ്പിച്ച ഏതെങ്കിലും കഥാപാത്രങ്ങൾക്ക് അവരീ പറയുന്ന രീതിയിൽ ആത്മാവും ശരീരവുമൊക്കെ സന്നിവേശിപ്പിക്കേണ്ട സാധ്യതകൾ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ എന്ന കാര്യത്തിൽ നമുക്കും സംശയമുണ്ടെങ്കിലും അവർ പറയുന്ന അഭിനയകലയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള പാഠങ്ങൾ അവരോടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ മതിപ്പ് വർദ്ധിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. കേട്ടു നോക്കൂ.
I sell lies. My success depends on how true my lies are. I sell lies wrapped up with honesty. My world swings between the real and unreal. I make the unreal real for you. I'm emotionally wired, creative person, trying to bring that unreal to you in a very emotional way. I see the unseen and I hear the silences. I'm sensitive to the sadness in your eyes. I am trained to see the gestures that speaks volumes. I'm trained to hear voices. I'm trained to study lives. I am an actor. Acting is my profession. I impersonate people. I impersonate emotions. I try to create something the writers write. The writer sketches the character and he gives it to the director, trusting his ability to transform it onto the stage or film. The director guides us to internalize the character emotionally, intellectually, physically, and expects us to make it real. Just like the skeleton we just saw, that's the form the character comes to us. How we flesh it out is our ability. Just like how you flesh it out and give the features to every character, which are predetermined by the writer. How do we flesh out the characters? By walking a particular way, by turning in a particular way, by the color of the skin, by a laughter, by the voice, by the language, by a side glance, by a smirk, by a snarl, by a shriek, by a whisper, and also by silence that speaks volumes. So how do we actually get into the act of acting? There are guidance laid down by great masters. The great masters have experienced and come out with guidelines for us. It is called sometimes experiential work and realization of the character. The great Stanislavski might say about a phrase or an exit repeatedly, I don't believe that. Making the hapless actor go through that again and again and again and again to make it real. He really believed in realizing the performances or getting into the character by physical action being the foundation of the characterization process. He would make his actors pick innumerable apples, imaginative apples, pick innumerable apples, imaginative apples, and sew imaginative socks, or thread the invisible needle, or walk like a camel. Why camel? What does walking like camel have to do with being an actor or realizing a performance? Just like the words are for a poet, an instrument is for a musician, a voice is for a singer, body is for an actor. How you use the body is when you start being aware of its every movement, every gesture, how swift it should be, how fast you should be, how slow it should be, how slumped, how active, how courageous. Everything is transformed only through your body. How do you become aware of your body if you do not allow to understand the movements of your body? You are only used to walking normally, doing things as you always trained by your mother or a sports person or anything. So by breaking that knowledge of knowing your body as it is and shifting you to an uncomfortable zone of behaving like an animal actually makes you understand each and every part of your body. And that's why he used to make actors walk like camel or whatever they choose. So many people would have understood or known the fact that Toshiro Mifune, who did the samurais or farmer/samurai's character in Seven Samurai, had watched innumerable wildlife tapes of a lion before attempting to even touch the text of the film. If you recall now, if you go back and watch the film again and see, that actor looks and has the dignity, a courageous walk of a lion. That's how it helps. So that is about the body language, what you want to put into the character. And then comes the internalization of the character. How do you internalize the character? How do you dissect the emotions? It is not as easy as dissecting a human body. Each and every one of us have a very, very unique way of showing our emotions. How do you imbibe the other? Losing yourself in the process and becoming the other. An actor's life is nothing but a struggle between losing yourself and becoming the other. So how do you do that? Again, the great people have guided us in a way that you do the experiential workshops. Like, you have a particular character. It is going through these kind of emotions. Acted with S.V. Rangarao Garu as Krishna. He was the Kamsa in the film. And when he died, we went to pay our respects. And in that crowd, my father lost his purse. I remember that incident only because of my father losing the purse, because I had to walk 2 kilometers. I was just 5 or 6 years old. And when we came back, there was no food and there was no money to buy food immediately. So we had to eat rasam and rice. So when I go through that experience of walking back 2 kilometers because I did not have money, not having money is imprinted on my emotion so deeply. When I make my actor in my film earning to get back the money he has lost, I share this personal experience. And then everybody shares. Prominently, the actor shares a similar experience. And we leave it at that. And then we touch the text, the dialogue, only when we go, if it is a film. But if it is a stage play, we actually rehearse a lot. But then when you actually are saying the dialogues, the emotion is much more real for the actor. So this is the process an actor is put through to internalize the emotions. Not in the same way, this is one way I have learned from whatever guidelines I have come across given to me by my great teachers called directors. It's insane. It's insane how every day morning we get up and run to become someone else. And we beat ourselves to become the other in a successful way. We are frustrated. We are not ourselves. We just break at one touch. It's insane. Why do we have to go through such insanity? But we do that. Every day when I go to the sets, or every day when I am on the stage, I am hoping and designing and desiring to take out that perfect emotion, perfect reaction, perfect performance, emotionally, performance-wise. There are other elements which are helping us to realize the character, to transform the audience into the world we want them to believe in. One is language. Language plays a great part in giving us that one push. You people would have watched Bahubali recently. The language I speak in Bahubali is totally different from the languages heard in the other areas of the film. So that immediately took me and placed me in an area where the writer and director wanted me to be. So the language is very important for an actor. It is very, very, very difficult when we act in other languages to get the same emotion. So when I started working in Malayalam, I learned Malayalam to read and write. I used to read newspapers every day to make it real for me. And then only I approached the film, Malayalam industry. Then attire. You don't believe. By one single element, you can be that person, closer to that person who you are trying to play. Like in our Indian context, if you take Bindi, if the character keeps kumkum, she is an orthodox traditional housewife. If it is a sticker puttu, she's a working, practical woman. She does not have time for herself enough time for herself to keep that kumkum puttu. If she is a modern woman like me, she doesn't have bindi. If it is a person who is very, very, very aesthetically inclined woman, she may have a beautifully drawn bindi. So one element, like bindi, it's just an example, takes you closer to the character you are playing. And then comes the interaction with the actors. It's very, very important. When I was talking to you about body movement, I think I can take 10 more minutes if you let me, or 5 minutes? Yeah, okay. Can you switch that off? See, voice. When I was talking to you about body language, I wanted to tell you about something which I personally cherish. There was this director called Bapu, Telugu director. If Telugu people are here, they will know. He made a film on Tyagaraja. I played the daughter of Tyagaraja. And Tyagaraja sees the daughter worshipping Tulasi one day. But he sees Rama, Lord Rama in her. So I had to become Rama. I had to wear the costume of Rama and stand in front. For 2 or 3 shots, I come as Rama in the film. So when I was supposed to stand like Rama, I was not getting it right. So Bapu Garu immediately, he's an artist, he's a great artist. He immediately drew and showed it to me. How my legs should be, how my hand should be holding the bow. It was not like this, it should be like this. And how peaceful and divine my smile should be. And that was such a cherishable experience. Till date, I remember the lesson I learned from him. One scene where I am acting with Sri Vidya Amma, who's playing my mother. I am the teenage daughter of Sri Vidya Amma. There are some emotional fights going between the mother and daughter. So he wanted us to use the frame. The frame is static. He wanted he wanted to use our bodies in such a way that when a particular dialogue is uttered, I am here, I'm not looking at my mother, because I do not want to look at her and tell her what I have to say, because I'm really being mean. And then when I turn, this is a suggestion shot. And I walk, my mother is still here, and she is talking, she's trying to make me look at her, but I don't look at her because I am avoiding looking at her, because I have so much to cover up, so much to hide. So this way, he was trying to tell us how each and every dialogue should be designed and how you should stand and how you should not show your face at this. We were not able to get it, but again he did the same thing. He drew the frame, he drew how each one of us should be standing. When he was doing that, what I understood was that how you use your silence much more than your words. That's a very, very, very important lesson I have learned from Bharatan sir. Okay, we have everything in place and we come out with the best performance. And then what happens to us, actors? When we come into a hall like this, when someone else is giving a beautiful speech, all the attention is on us. We are treated like demigods. We are treated like heroes, real heroes, enough to believe that we can lead the country or be a guidance to lead your lives. Believe me, we are only repeating the dialogues written by great thinkers. The hopes we raise in the audience or in you are not our own. Just like the costumes we wear are not our own. Take our performances seriously. Keep us in your heart, not on your head, because we can't even pay for the haircut that has to come from the hard-earned work of labor you put into and the salaries you get. Thank you.